Hello, good evening, welcome to the September 2020 Stanion and Northants Astronomy Club's Skyguide. Sorry it's a little bit late this month, being quite busy with work and getting the kids back to school and all that malarkey and family stuff, etc, etc. So I'd just like to get on and show you what can be seen in the night sky this month. So I'll start off as usual with the planets. I'll go through where you can see those. So we'll start off with Venus. It rises in the east. It's a bright morning object all month, shining away at mag -4. And this image here, I've highlighted the 14th of September. You can see the bright planet Venus will be next to a very thin crescent moon. So in the early hours, the 14th September, look to the east, you can see a moon and Venus conjunction. So moving on now to Mars, very apparent in the evening skies. It rises just about when the skies are getting dark. Mars will be rising. You can see the red hued planet, very prominent in the night sky, and it actually brightens up over the course of September. I think it heads into opposition next month, so it will go from mag -1.8 up to -2.5 by the end of September, and also its apparent diameter will also increase from 18 to 22 arc seconds across. So a nice object to observe this month, both visually, with the naked eye and also with your telescopes. Now, there's a little image here on the right hand side of the screen of one I took a few years ago, the red planet. You can see some of the darker regions here, and then the red dusty regions as well. So a really nice planet to observe once it gets big enough. Moving on now to Jupiter. As for the last few months, it's been visible through the night, with Saturn to the east of Jupiter as well. It's shining quite brightly still at -2.2. Oh, it will dim to 2.2 by month end. I think it's about 2.4 at the start. So as darkness falls, you can see Jupiter in the south, and I've put this slide here. This image will show you where you can see Jupiter, Saturn and the Moon all lined up. This is on the evening of the 24th of September, so a nice conjunction to see there. And over here on the right as well, this is the type of view you'd see through decent aperture telescope. You'll see the planet. If you're lucky, you can see the red spot if it's in the right position at the right time when you're observing, and you can also see the Galilean moons set out in various positions, depends when you're observing it as well. And sometimes you can also see the moon transits and shadow transits if you catch it at the right times. Check out Stellarium planetarium app. You can zoom right in on the planet and play around with the time, so you can see exactly when these transits are going to happen for yourself, and then you can get out there, be there at the right time and observe them through your telescope. A really cool thing to do. I'll move on now to Saturn. Like you see the previous slide, you can see Saturn not too far away from Jupiter, Saturn being a bit dimmer than Jupiter, mag +0.8, still well within visible naked eye visibility and very apparent in the night sky. And this is the evening after the last slide I showed you, so the 25th of September. You'll be able to see Saturn and Jupiter there, and the Moon this evening will be just below Saturn, so it creates a nice triangle there, both of the larger planets of the solar system alongside the Moon. And of course, if you look through a telescope at Saturn, you'll see the rings presented towards us, facing the Earth. This is an image I took a few years ago. If you have good viewing, you can see Cassini division there, between the main rings. Really nice to see, and if you're lucky you can get a bit of banding visible on the planet as well. So yeah, really nice object to have a look at. Moving on to Uranus, visible, it rises obviously in the east. So this slide here I put about 11 o'clock ish. It's in the constellation of, I think it's in Cetus, or does it count as Aries? I think it's right on the border there. But Mag plus 5.7 makes it just inside naked eye visibility, but most people live in areas where they don't have truly dark skies, away from all light pollution, so a pair of binoculars should show the planet. If you're looking at the right area, it's always tricky to discern it from the surrounding stars, so what I always like to do is have a star chart ready. So we've got this wider view here. I've zoomed in a little bit here, so I'll probably use these three brighter stars below where the planet is, and then work my way up, maybe from this star. There's another bright star there. Come up to this little cluster of stars here. You can see this star here just to the left of Uranus, and then come over here and try and work. See if you can see this sort of little asterism, if you like. 3 stars. You've got a fainter one there, and then you should be able to see the greenish hue of Uranus in your binoculars or your telescope, whatever you're using. Okay, so we'll move on now to Jupiter. This reaches opposition on the 11th September. It's Mag plus 7.8, and it doesn't really change for this planet when it gets opposition. And as with Uranus, not quite naked eye visibility, but a pair of binoculars or a telescope should be able to show it to you. This planet being a blue planet, having a blue colour to it, and same sort of method again. By zooming in on your star chart, you can sort of work out your little shapes of stars to to figure out where to see it. This one here, between this corner bit here of Aquarius and this head of a fish of Pisces. It's in between here, and then you can probably find this little asterism here, and that makes the corner of a little flag shape. A kite shape, which is quite convenient. These 3 brighter stars, and then you have Neptune there. So that's the planets. Now moving on, we've got nothing like Comet Neowise we've had recently. Comet-wise, I always use inthesky.org to go and have a look, see what comets have been observed or any new ones that are out, and this one caught my eye. Comet C2020 Q1 Borisov, not as bright as the recent nice comet that was Neowise. This one's currently at 11.4. It's predicted to peak at 10.8, so nowhere near as bright as the most recent one that we had in our sky, but this one caught my eye because it's in the constellation of Auriga currently, and this rises in the northeast as it gets dark here in the UK, so quite a nicely positioned one. If you've got a large enough aperture telescope, you should be able to make it out, maybe just. And certainly if you've got a photography setup, you'll be able to see that by taking pictures of that area. If you've got your scope tracking in the right sort of area of the sky, you should be able to make out the comet, and then take a few photos maybe over the course of an hour or so, and then you might be able to make out its movement across the background stars as well. So quite a cool thing to do, to see comets for yourself. Check out this inthesky.org website. You can see which comets and where they are, what constellation they're in, what they're predicted to peak, if they're brightening, if they're fading. Really useful tool on that website. Here's a picture of a comet. It's not that comet. This is one a couple of years ago now. This was Comet 21P. I took an image of it over an hour or so, and it just shows you what sort of thing you can do. Obviously I've got trailed stars here because I've stacked lots of images on the comet head itself to try and get a bit of tail detail, or just to see the coma a little bit better. You can see it's got like a green hue to it, like comets normally have. So moving on, I'm going to go through some deep sky objects as I always do, and rising now in the east when it's dark. We've got the Andromeda Galaxy, quite a favourite object and a bright galaxy to observe and to take photographs of. I've got a little trick that I use to find this quite easily. It is if you find the Great Square Pegasus in your eastern sky when it's dark, you should be able to look up to the east and see these 4 stars here. And I always take the left hand corner star and I come along 1, 2 stars, and I go up 2 fainter stars, and then you just up a little to the right slightly, you'll find Andromeda Galaxy there. So it's a good trick for finding it with your telescope or binoculars, or if you've got very much dark enough skies, you can just about make it out with the naked eye if you're away from lots of light pollution. I managed to do this when I was on holiday last year in Scotland. We were out in the countryside, where we were staying, and I went out on the only clear night we got of the week, and I managed to just about make it out with the naked eye. I've got a picture to show you at the end of this presentation of what it may look like to the naked eye if you have truly dark skies. And here's an image I took of the Andromeda Galaxy. It's nice and bright. It's got a really nice bright core, and photography will allow you to make out some of the dust lanes on this spiral galaxy just that tilted towards us, and also be able to see some of these. There's 2 satellite galaxies as well, which is usually visible on either side of Andromeda. Makes it a really nice object to observe and to photograph too. And moving on now to Triangulum Galaxy. It's not that far away in our sky from the Andromeda Galaxy up here, so if you come down a bit, you see the faint constellation of Triangulum here, and here we've got M33, the Triangulum Galaxy. Now the brightness would suggest it has it within the naked eye range, but it's got a very low surface brightness apparently, so you really do need instruments and a dark sky and possibly astrophotography to see this object. It's eluded me so far, observing it through the telescope with my eye, and I've only been able to see it by using my camera. So this is the type of image that I got using my DSLR and Newtonian telescope setup. It's a face on spiral galaxy. You can see the arms, the spiral arms stretching out all around it, and there's a few little red regions that you can see in there. It's a really nice object. Like I say, it's eluded me just using my telescope and the naked eye so far. Hopefully one day I'll get dark enough skies and my telescope in the same place and I'll be able to see it. So moving on now to the Dragonfly cluster. This is a nice cluster I like to try and find and to show people when I'm out with the club, or if we're doing like an outreach event like we did last year for some scouts locally. I like to try and find this cluster because it looks really nice in the eyepiece. I think even better than the photographs that I've managed to take of it so far. It's in the constellation of Cassiopeia. It's fairly easy to find. Normally use these 2 stars here as a bit of a pointer, but it's normally just about making out, and you find a scope. If you're scanning around this area in Cassiopeia, you'll make it out, and you'll see what it's called, the Dragonfly cluster, or the Owl cluster it's also known as. So here's the cluster here in the photograph I took a couple of years ago, and you can see it's got these 2 bright stars here. Probably should have rotated this image really, and then here you'll make out the body of the owl, or the dragonfly, whatever you want to call it, and then either side you'll see some stars stretching out which look kind of like wings, so you've got 2 bright eyes here, you've got the wings and the body. Really nice object to observe visually through the eyepiece. I think my photo doesn't really do it justice here. I always prefer looking at this rather than taking photographs, but yeah, so moving on now to ISS passes. So it's visible in the early hours until the 12th of this month, and then we have a few days gap and it changes to evening passes from the 17th. It's always quite useful to use heavensabove.com to get the timings, or if you get the ISS detector app on your smartphone. Makes it really easy, and the app in particular gives you little alerts when it's about to come over, so even if you forget it's coming, you can get a little alert 5 minutes beforehand. You can pop outside and wait for it, give the astronauts a little wave as you see them passing overhead, like we're all doing here in this image from Stanion in Northants in the UK. We were out observing one night. I took my camera along and I took several, I think these are like 10-second exposures, so you can capture the ISS as it was rising over the village hall. And here we've got one of the brighter passes. This is the sort of thing you'd see on heavensabove.com. You'll get a table of passes. It will tell you start, altitude and times, and also give you the maximum altitude, I think. If you zoom in down here, this one I've zoomed in on, the maximum altitude 58 degrees, and here you see a little map against the stars. You can see exactly where it will start. So here it starts in the square of Pegasus. That's where it will emerge from the Earth's shadow, and then it will track across the sky. It goes right in front of, it's almost in front of the bright star on the shoulder of Orion there, and then before going over the horizon and out of view. So really cool thing to observe if you're out on the evening, if you've got the opportunity to see the ISS. I'm just going to go through some images now. I think we're very light on observations from club members this month. I think we've had a lot of clouds, or everyone's been busy, so not many fresh images. So I'm just going to go through the ones we had on the guide last year. So this is an image of the Milky Way that I took from Scotland last year. You see the quite dark skies. I was in the countryside. You can just make out the banding of the Milky Way stretching up into the overhead in this image. And then here is the image of the Andromeda Galaxy, which is kind of what you'd probably see the Andromeda Galaxy just here, a little smudge in the sky. If you've got truly dark skies and you want to see it with the naked eye, you use that little method I mentioned earlier, and find a great square Pegasus, come left 2 stars, up 2 stars, and a little bit more, and you just see a little faint smudge in the sky there. You know that you're looking at that galaxy, which sits, I think it's 2.5 million light years away. So I think it's the furthest thing you can actually see with the naked eye, which is a pretty cool thing to do. And here's an image of the Andromeda Galaxy again. This one taken by Graham Algeo last year. He's done a really cool process job on this. It's got a lot of dust lanes visible there. It's got the core there. The satellite galaxies are visible. A really nice object to take images of, and also to observe through the eyepiece or binoculars or with the naked eye if you've got dark enough skies. And also by Graham Algeo last year, the Pleiades visible in our skies this month as well. Very bright stars are visible with the naked eye or through the eyepiece of a telescope, and once you start taking photographs you can sometimes make out the nebulosity surrounding these stars as well. It's a really nice thing to resolve with a camera. Another one from Graham as well, M33 as well, like the image I took earlier. You can see the spiral arms of the galaxy stretching out here in the brighter core. Some moon images here. These are from last year, from one of our club attendees, John Allen. He had 2 different methods here of how to process the moon images. So he used PIP, Autostatic and Registacks as well. I think this is his original image, and then by using this software you can make out more detail. You can make it a lot smoother, make the image a bit crisper using this sort of software here. I'll move on now to another couple of moon images by Paul Smith. I think he's used different cameras. I've got this slide and the next slide. There you go, there's two different types of moon images, but taken, I think, the same telescope, similar mount, and then different cameras. I think this one's a webcam, a Philips cam, and then the next one that he used was the next image camera. So just shows you the difference that a camera makes. The webcam, I think he modified it. He modified a webcam, then got a dedicated astro camera, get a slightly different result. Yeah, it's just really cool to do this sort of thing yourself from your own back garden, to be able to take images of objects in the night sky and make an image that is yours, and that you can share with everyone else and get them interested in the night sky too. And I think that brings us to the end of this month's Skyguide. So just like to say thank you again for listening. If you'd like to join our Facebook page, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for Stanion and Northants Astronomy Club. Or you can email me at stanionastro@hotmail.com, and I'll stick you on the mailing list, and I can get the Sky Guides sent to you every month, via a link in the email. Let you know what's going on with the club as well. So hopefully we'll get back to some normality sort of within the next month or two, and we can get back to having our physical meetings at Stanion Village Hall. So fingers crossed we make a bit of progress in that area quite soon, with all the measures put in place, of course. The village halls, they're right on top of all the restrictions and mitigating all the risks involved. So hopefully we'll have some good news for that soon. So just like to say thank you very much once again, and I'll speak to you again next month. Bye.